So welcome back guys. In this video we will be doing the hack the box challenge starting point, that is markup. So this is the IP address 10.10.10.49. So I have already done the nmap scan to save some time, and you can see here the port SSH is open and the web server and the secured version of this web server. So you can see there are 3 ports open, and from the previous box included write up you can see we have the credentials. We have got the SQL dump. So in these queries we have created a database, and then there is a table, and username is Daniel, and this is the password. So copy. Now what we can do is we can try to SSH using this password. I know, but these are the credentials for their database, so maybe he can use the same credential here for the SSH. Okay, now paste the password and hit enter. So permission denied, please try again. So that means the password for the SSH is different from this SQL login. So okay, now I have run the GoBuster scan on this website. Now I came to know that this is a PHP myadmin. And you can also see here the operating system, that is Windows 64, that is 64-bit version of the Windows. So you can see the welcome. So now let's try to log in with our credentials, Daniel user. Paste the password here and hit sign in. Okay, now you can see about page, products and order, etc. So one thing interesting you can notice is you can go to PHP myadmin. I'm sorry. So access forbidden. So we are not authorized to access this PHP myadmin. So we cannot brute force the username and the password. Now you can see there is some fill up form, home appliances, electronics. So we need to say quantity and address. So now let's press Ctrl U and see the source code. Now you can see here in the comment modified by Daniel. So that means uh, the Daniel user can modify any of these forms. So he's like a one step below the administrator. So here we are going to fill up the values. So okay, now let's turn on our burp suite proxy, and now let's say 4. So something address. Now click on submit. So make sure our intercept is on. Now click on submit, and now you can see here the data is being sent through the XML data. So that means we can try for excessive payloads. So this XML external entity attack based on the XML parsing. So if the parser on the server side implements a normal parsing, so then we can ask for the file names, so the content of the file to retrieve. So one way you can do is you can specify the document type definition. So to do that, say less than and not, and type doc type. So you can give normal doc type, let's say test. So here we need to define some entities. So entities are like a placeholders. So this is the XML format. This is similar to HTML, but in the case of predefined tags like h1 tag, h2 tag, bold tag, so these are the user defined. So we can define our own tags. You can see order, quantity, item, address. So these are the user defined tags, our tags. So in the data is the actual data. The XML parser will parse out of the this tags, and it will evaluate further. So in the case, in place of this home appliances, I can create a variable like this. We need to say entity entity, and we can say name, let's say sweet home. So we can say sweet home like this, and we need to close the entity. So instead of this sweet home, I can just say name. So instead of this home appliances, so let me say home appliances. So instead of this home appliances, I can now write as ampersand name semicolon. So this value home appliances will be replaced at the time of the parsing. So okay, this is the basic concept of the entity. So now what we can do is, instead of specifying some string, we can specify system, and now we can specify the file type. So you can use the file protocol. So if you open a PDF in the browser, so if you can observe the URL, it will be like file colon slash slash, sorry, file colon slash slash, and the path to the PDF. So in the same way, you need to specify the file protocol. So what you can do is, you can specify any file that is in our on the system. So one thing you can do is press Ctrl U again. You can see here the username is Daniel. So that means Daniel may be the user, and he may have the user.txt, right? So okay, fine. So what we can do is, we can say users Daniel, and in the desktop and the user.txt. So we are just simply guessing that to access this user.txt. Okay, name system file. So this is the file path. Now what we can do is, we can right click on this, send to repeater. So this repeater will allow us to send requests and see the responses without interfering with the browser. So however, we have changed here. Now what we can say is, we can forward, and now you can see your order for has been processed. So this is our user flag. So you can see the repeater. Now I'm like, let me maximize this. So we have got the user.txt file. So one thing I can show is XAMPP Windows location. So if you search for this, so this XAMPP is like a PHP myadmin SQL combination. So you can see the path C XAMPP HTDocs. So okay, now what we can do is, we can say C XAMPP HTDocs slash, and one PHP file is db.php. So this is the database file. So if you send, so we did not see any output, right? So what we can do is, we need to apply some PHP filter. So to do that, you can say PHP colon slash slash, and then filter convert dot base 64 encode slash resource is equals to. So now we are applying the we are encoding the whole content of this db.php into base 64, and then we are displaying it as a string. So if you click on send, sorry, spelling mistake. So you will get the errors if you did anything wrong. So this is the base 64, and you can see, you can copy this, go to decoder, paste this, decode as base 64. So this is the decoded version, MySQL connect of localhost root goods. So that means if you have the internet access to the PHP myadmin, you can log in as a root user. So okay, now what we need is, we need a reversal. So if you go to SSH and there is a Daniel user, so you can read the private key for the Daniel user, and using the private key you can directly log in into the SSH without any password. So now what we're going to do is you can specify file and see users, and it's Daniel slash dot ssh slash id underscore rsa. So this is the private key for the Daniel user. Now send. Now you can see this is the private key. Now copy exactly including the opening and beginning and ending of the lines. So copy this. So now let me create a new file id underscore rsa and paste the contents. Save the file. Now we need to change the permissions to 400. So that is read write only for the user. Now we can log in SSH I and specify the id underscore rsa and Daniel. And now hit enter. Okay, you can see we have got the command prompt. So you can go to the desktop. So you can display the user.txt. So this is the user flag. So what we need to do is now we need to do the privilege escalation, right? So now let's say ls. So I have already downloaded this WinPeace executables from the GitHub. So you can just search for WinPeace GitHub. You will get the straight first link to download these executables. So let me host this. So we can see here from the nmap scan we came to know that it is Win64. So now we can say simply curl http my IP address, that is 10.10.17.29. And we can specify the output file, that is C. So hit enter. Now it will be saved in the desktop as a winpiece.exe. Now let's say dir. So WinPeace, so I have already previously downloaded this as a WinPeace 64 and run this. So all you need to do is you need to run this winpiece.exe. So just scroll and there will be a plain text credentials for the administrator. So you can see auto login credentials for phone. So you can copy these credentials. So these are the credentials. So copy this password. Now you can stop the scan. Now you can exit this. So SSH administrator. Now paste the password and hit enter. Now you can see we are logged in. So we have successfully got the root flag. So let's exit. So there is an actual another method. So SSH. So if you go to the C directory, if you say dir, now there is a folder called log management. So let's go to that log management. So you can see there is a batch file. So now let me view the contents of the job.batch file. Okay, I don't know this batch scripting, but it's doing some so you can see the print statement here. Event logs have been cleared. Okay, if you run normally the job.bat, it will say you no, you must be run as an administrator, and it will quit. So now how to modify this batch script means you can check the permissions using the icars job.bat. So you can see built-in users have the permissions read and I think you can see we also have the full permissions. Okay, that means we can overwrite these contents with a reverse shell. So now what you can do is you can upload the netcat binary and then you can override this script. So for me it did not work out. So whenever I modify these contents of this batch script, then immediately there is some another like a background job that is replacing the script with this original code. So that's why I was unable to get the root shell from this method. So I hope you give it a try once. So if it did not succeed, then you can use the win piece. So it will directly tells you there are some logon credentials were found in the plain text. So okay, that's all for this video. We have successfully pawned the markup box.